This is an extra credit project for my ASP.NET class, and I'm going to show how to insert, update, and delete rows from a database on my web form. So the first thing is I have a grid view that's showing all the staff in the company, and I can click on details and see the details of this staff member. And if I want to edit her, I say edit staff, and I want to change her name back to her real name. So I'll do that and say update. And then I close the window and it updates Millie to Amelia right here. The next thing is adding a staff member. I'm just going to put in some dummy data real quick. Then I'm going to say add staff, and it's going to add her right here, and I can see her details as well. The last thing I want to do is delete. So if I click delete on Brooke here, it's going to ask me, am I sure I want to delete? And I'll say okay. And then Brooke is no longer in the database. So now I'm going to show some of the code that happens behind all this. At the very top here, I have a div that I put everything that requires editing in. So I have a form view called edit staff, and in the item template, I just expose the staff ID, first name and last name when the details button is clicked, and this is connected to my database, so it's grabbing her staff ID, first name and last name. And then after that I have an edit item template, so when the edit link button is clicked, it'll go to this template where the fields first name, last name, position, and password will come up, and those are the only fields that I allow them to update. And they are also bound to the database with the server-side tags here. The next thing is when you click the update button, it commits it to the database, and there's a stored procedure that I have in the data source at the bottom, which I'll show in a minute. The next form view I have is to insert staff members. It's called form view insert staff, and it has a data source also that takes all the staff, so it queries all the staff from the table. And then in the insert template, I have fields that are also bound to the database for each field corresponding to the table in SQL Server. Then when you click the add staff button, it commits it to the database. So finally, I have my grid view here, and it uses the SDS all staff as its data source, and that is down here. But first I want to show the SDS single staff. This is for when you click on the details button and you just want to view a specific staff member or update them. I have a select command that selects all from the database where staff ID equals the selected staff ID. And then I have an update command that updates the selected staff member with the inputted values. And then in the SDS all staff, I have a select command that selects all the staff, and it fills the grid view with this query and orders them by last name. And then I have a delete command. It's called delete staff, and it's in my SQL Server database as a stored procedure. And then finally, I have an insert command, and it inserts into the staff table, so it gets all the rows and fields, or sorry, the fields, and then inserts the values that were entered on the web form into the specified rows. And in the code behind page of the add staff page, I have events that fire every time a link button is clicked or a selected index is changed. So when you click on a staff member to display their details, it has the form views come up, and then it binds the data to the database. And that's about all for this extra credit project.